I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. The air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. And we sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value. So, I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. Welcome. This is the 454th episode of the Political Spotlight. I'm your host, Kristopher H. Bilbrey. We are flying solo tonight because Kate is in the Pacific Northwest, and it feels like she's been there for the last year, and she stays sick while she's there. I don't really understand what's going on. It's in government housing because her son is in the military, so he's on a military base. I don't know if they have like mold or something, but she stays sick while she's there. But she will be home this weekend. She will be flying in on Saturday when Brandon and I are rocking out to some Primus and Perfect Circle. Pucifer. I cannot wait for Saturday's concert. It's going to be oh so lovely. Welcome to all of you. Les Cloud, ready for the show. And to hear about Southway Plaza, hello, everyone. Might as well put these up now while I can, because once the show gets going, it won't be happening. Good evening, everyone, Alva says. Good evening, Chris Bunner says. Tweety Bird says, American Water Company is bigly mad at Muncie. Yeah, we need to be talking about that. And I'm telling you, like, tonight's a catch-all. I wasn't planning on Kate being gone. I thought that I was planning on Kate being on the show. Tonight's a catch-all. We're gonna be talking about a lot of stuff. So I don't know. You know what I could do? Let me ask you. You tell me tonight, for tonight only, we can keep your comments up the whole time. Do you want me to put no comments up, or do you want me to do this? And now what I need somebody to comment. Someone comment. Tweety Bird, tell me how much you hate Trump, or Bree, tell me about water. Alva, talk to me about drugs. Okay, see, down in the corner, Bree says someone. Glenda Davis said hello. Do you see it on the screen? Can you see it? Stumblefoot said no comments. Do you see that? That is a new feature. That's a new feature. Now, what we could do to make it more visual was in the future, we could put a little black box there behind that and you'd be able to see it. But it is very tiny. I don't like it. We'll take it off. You guys' comments are in the comment section. I'll try to put them up. If I can put them up, I'll get to them. But we have a lot to talk about tonight. So that's why I'm going to need you guys to go ahead and don't make me screw with it later on. Just go ahead and smash the like button now. Click the bell. Subscribe if you haven't. You know what to do. Share the show with everyone you know. If you want to comment and you're watching live, comment over there. Of course, live being Tuesday, May 22nd, 2025, and it's 9:11 p.m. Eastern. Comment over there. If you're here via replay in the future, comment down here and let's get on with the show. There is all of our things, our links and all that stuff, our phone number. Hey, I have finally reached the limit on Facebook. I now no longer can accept friends. So if we are not friends, I can't accept you because I have now reached whatever limit. Facebook will not let me accept any more friends. So that is on the Bilbrey 318 Facebook page. So if you want to go over then to the Political Spotlight Facebook page, you can like there. Also, both pages are wide open. So people can comment who aren't my friends. We have comments here. You can comment whether you like us, whether you hate us, if you want to make fun of me because my father's dead, like Gabe Whitley's doing for whatever reason. I think he thinks that bothers me. It doesn't. Or if you want to tell me I'm fat or whatever, you can do all of that. You can also tell me that I'm wonderful and that you love me like other people do. So it just depends. Whatever you want to tell me, you don't have to be my friend to do that. Okay. You can do that whether you're a good person or you're a 12-year-old mentally deficient dude from Indianapolis that's getting ready to go to prison. Either way, you can do whatever you want to do. And we don't have to be friends. We can be enemies. It's all open. That's off there. Listen, now tonight's going to be a catch-all. We have to talk about American Water and Muncie. It's not going to be tonight. I'm going to be on tomorrow. Saturday, I will not be on. We are normally not on Saturday or Friday. Friday and Saturday, we are normally not on. And you guys know this. Tomorrow, we will be on because I wasn't here last night. And I think I wasn't here Sunday. So we'll be on tomorrow. Tomorrow, we will talk about whatever happens tomorrow, but we will also talk about the park board meeting and the American Water, Prairie Creek, City of Muncie ordeal, because there are a lot of people blowing me up about this, and this is a current big topic. But tonight, my friends, tonight is a catch-all, and we are going to do our best to try and talk about the following 4 subjects: industrial solar and Delaware County, the Lieutenant Governor Micah Beckwith's quiet town hall in Muncie last night, a little follow-up to Muncie Mayor Dan Ridenour's non-crisis crisis center, and then we're going to end with Indiana Secretary of State Diego Morales' current issues. Some are funny and some are serious. We're going to try and hit all of those bad boys tonight. Some of them are not as long as others. A couple of them are doozies. So, without further ado, let's get into it and see what we've got going on. No, do not get this twisted. The water company is not hurting Dan Ridenour. We will be talking about this tomorrow. the company is hurting the citizens, and the mayor is standing. Yes! You must now, from now on, always refer to me as Uncle Buck, David. That is it. You need to change my name. Oh, Chris, are you serious? Your grandson's going to Deer Creek on Saturday? That means your grandson is into some kick-ass music. I love to hear that. That's amazing. How old is your grandson, may I ask? That is lovely. Yeah, you can even just drop the Chris, David. You can just call me Bilbrey, or most of the time, and probably what's more fitting is just Uncle Buck. I think that fits. I think it's fantastic, and yes, I concur. So, all right. Working first time at Deer Creek. I'm going with my girlfriend too. But we're in our 40s. My girlfriend's named Brandon Rudd, so it'll be what it'll be. I need a deer hunter vest. I don't have one of those, but I will see what I can do. I love it. Oh, God. Okay, so let's do this. First up, I want to share with you guys this agenda from the Delaware County Commissioners meetings. You guys are talking about the water stuff, and I feel like I got to talk about it just a second. Don't throw me off, you people, but all right, let me say this. Tweety Bird says, who has been shaking hands with water company is my big question. I'll be gone for the next few days, so I'm going to miss your live on this subject. Oh, Tweety Bird. Well, you have fun doing whatever you're doing. I hope it's going to be a fun reason you're going to be gone. But I will save it, and I will send it to you as soon as you get back, and you can watch it in your own time. It'll be great. Yes, Stumblefoot, me too. I'm not exactly mad about what's going on. I just think that there are some transparency things and things going on there that, of course, it's just interesting. So yeah, we'll get into all of that tomorrow, and it'll be interesting. Yeah, I too am okay with people trying to make our water better. But I just, we'll get into all that tomorrow. All right. We will get into all of that tomorrow. So here on the screen, ladies and gentlemen, is the agenda for the Delaware County Commissioners meeting, which occurred on Monday, past Monday, the 19th at 9 a.m. You will see it says order of business, call to order, pledge to the flag, roll call, announcements, appointments. Okay, they get all the way down on that. Tabled business. And then we almost instantly get into the solar moratorium Stephen Brand. So without further ado, what I'm going to do is bring up the Delaware County Commissioners meeting, and we're going to watch this, and we're going to see and hear and listen and see what we need to discuss. Make sure we can hear it. Let's make sure that we get this up and rolling.
Appointed as our interim health officer. Health officer, Mr. Jamie Bain. Good morning, Commissioners. Jamie Bain, Health Department Administrator, here representing Dr. John Peterson, who was recently appointed as our interim health officer. Could you give us a brief bio? Dr. Peterson served on our health board for over 32 years, I believe. A graduate of Iowa School of Medicine, practices family medicine here in Muncie. believe he's one of few, if not the only physician left with his own office.
And his term will end.
The remaining term is 2.5 years, so December 31st, 2027.
Thank you.
That's an important detail to know.
I have a couple of questions.
For all of you that know that doctor, I've always heard he's a pretty good guy. I don't know him
As far as I
personally.
understand, to serve the remainder of the term.
You're doing the search now, and getting the word out. I think you will eventually.
So the board, yes. The health department, and John, correct me if I'm wrong on any of this, the health department sends us a name. They actually find that person, vote on the appointment of that person, and then it comes to the commissioners basically to confirm that, correct?
Yes, the Board of Health makes a nomination and sends it to the Board of Commissioners. Board of Commissioners then either accepts or rejects the nomination.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that op-ed too.
And
to hell with that
Dr.
op-ed.
Wilkins resigned effective June 27th, isn't that correct? So this wouldn't take effect until June 27th? Correct. I think we listed the start date as 28th. The 28th. Okay. And you have another board meeting between now and then? Yes. Okay. I would like to talk to Dr. Peterson. I mean, I don't know the man. I've never met him. I'd like to talk to him and understand if he has plans for the health department, what he's going to do about childhood obesity, and if we have another crisis, a health crisis of some sort. You know, I think the health department's received about 23, 24, and 25, those 3 years, $7 million. You know, what's the plan with it? I'd just like to meet the man. So,
Yeah, I don't know why he
And I
wasn't
would
in
also
here at
like
this
to
meeting.
see
I like Jamie
who's
Bain,
going
and
to
this is
send
not
him.
on Jamie Bain, but the doctor should have been in
parallel
to this meeting.
sooner than later, rather than waiting 2.5 years.
That's just common
I know
sense.
that there are at least 5 people that have expressed interest in this position. So if Dr. Peterson's interested in it, I'm thankful for him to serve as on an interim basis, but he should have to compete for it just like everybody else. He's also on the board, is that correct? Yeah, he's the board chair currently.
You would have to sit down.
Yeah, his term expires this year in 25. I don't disagree, but I guess the health board is the one who sends us the information. And they've sent us this information. So, what's your
I'm
wish?
good to accept it and look down the road.
So you want to make a motion to approve the nomination, is that
I
correct?
do.
I don't believe Dr. Peterson has a long-term goals for this particular
No.
position. He's 70-some years old, and I just saw him on Friday, and he's talking about slowing down. So
Good. Yeah, no, I understand the health.
Listen, great, and who cares? But I agree with Brand on this, man. Now, that's not going to be something I'm going to say maybe all the way through this. But yeah, cool. I like Dr. Peterson. I don't know him personally. Okay, I have no idea about him personally. Okay? But I do know that I've heard other people talk about him. I know that he is a good person. I know that he's been an upstanding, fine person in the community. And I will say this, I'm okay with the health department board's right to pick and approve this person, and maybe it's something the commissioners can't do. I'm also okay with one of the commissioners saying, hey, I would like this person to come in and just speak to us. You know, it's not something that it's like it's got to be a big deal. They could just come in and speak. Like, that makes sense. It's okay for people to get to know who this person is or whatever. So I think like everybody can be right here. Okay. If he wants to do the job, if the health department feels like he can do the job, if the health department board feels like he can do the job, great. Let's do it. But also, let's have him come in and speak with us. I don't understand why Shannon is no, back up. I know exactly why Shannon is against it, just because we shouldn't do anything that is transparent. Blah.
Health board makes a recommendation, but personally, I have some buyer's remorse from some of the appointments I went along with in our January 6th meeting. I just don't want to have the same regret here. So I would like to talk to them. Okay, we have a motion. I'll second it. Ed, can you call the roll?
Commissioner Reagan.
Yes.
Commissioner Brand.
No.
Commissioner Henry.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Commissioners. All right, next we have, the Creed Board. Who do we have left on that, John?
There is an appointment for the, banking industry. On the Creed statute,
Why would we
Yes,
not
it's
have him
one
come in and
people,
talk
you
to
know,
us?
5 of those have to be in specific areas. One is elected official, one is economic development, development.
And listen, and here's what sucks. Here's what sucks about this. I know Brand's gonna go talk to him. Brand might like what he hears, but we won't hear that. And I'm like okay with some of the things that Brand's doing. I'm not okay with other things. But I'm fine if Brand goes and talks to him. But I would like the public to hear from him too. Insane.
And one is banking, one is labor, and the 5th one utility. Then there's a 6th member that can be somebody in the public. We had Doug White on there for banking, but he retired from the banking. He's now moved and done some volunteer work at ours. But he could serve if you want. It's up to the board. He could serve as the public member. You still need a person from banking and the economic development had been Angie Moyer because she was on the redevelopment commission board. And so you can make a decision as to whether you want to keep her because she does do some work still with Bill Walter's agency, or you can appoint somebody else to that position. I mean, all these appointments serve at your pleasure, so you can remove them at any time if you want.
Do you have any nominations? So I understand from the emails that Brian Sapp was interested in returning as the banking representative, and we could leave Doug White on as the public. And then the question is, do we want to do something different with our representative from Local Industrial Development Committee?
How often do they meet, John? Just on
As
call?
needed.
As needed.
We've met twice this year.
I think they met once or twice last year.
I would like to see Bill Walters on the board. So make your recommendation then? Brian Sapp for the banking and Doug Walters for the representative of Local Industrial Development Committee. Okay.
I'll second that.
Did you get those, Ed?
I did.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
I'm not
Commissioner
okay
Brand.
with Bill
Yes.
Walters
Commissioner
be
Reagan.
on the board.
Commissioner Henry.
Yes. All right, next we have a security committee. Is Emily here? Emily is ill this morning. She brought this up. I believe, Sherry, you serve on this committee today.
I do not.
Oh, you don't?
It's just,
Do you attend the meetings?
I do not.
Okay. I make a motion to table this. Do they have meetings?
I do not know.
Okay.
It's mostly, something they did start out with the 3100.
As needed? Okay.
Yeah.
Make a motion to table. All right, we have a motion to table. Do I hear a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Reagan.
Yes.
Commissioner Brand.
Yes.
Commissioner Henry.
Yes.
It's wild to me.
All right, next we have a table business, solar moratorium. Make a motion to take that off the table and provide that.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brand.
Yes.
Commissioner Reagan.
Yes.
Commissioner Henry.
Yes. Good, Mr. Mayor. Thank you. So, Councilman Bill Hughes and Matt Kantz and I met with Invenergy last week. The goal there is to revisit the economic
Let me slow this down so we can hear it exactly right.
development agreement. They have an EDA in place that was done a few years ago. It wasn't done by a municipal advisor. I think it was done in-house, and they are willing to revisit that economic development agreement. So we have a framework for what we're going to do there. We're going to use their EDA baseline that they had before and put in $1 for the megawatt per hour. When we met with Invenergy previously, it was asked by the council if they were willing to revisit the abatement. And the first time we met with them, they said they would entertain dialogue. This time they said they didn't want to revisit the abatement. So we talked openly about they
Good.
would have a higher charge per megawatt hour per year than the other companies that don't have an abatement. And Invenergy said they understood that. So I feel pretty decent about how that one's going. We also have a meeting with Exilio. Cedric Rule is coming in, I think, on the 10th of June. He's coming to visit with some landowners. We're also going to talk to them about the economic development agreement. And again, all those discussions have been pretty favorable so far. Another county, just for reference, just implemented a solar moratorium, not a solar moratorium. They looked at and introduced a new ordinance with a 1,000-foot setback. And that just says that they don't want solar in their county, period. So while I was talking with Invenergy and Exilio, National Grid Renewables, we have a meeting with them, I believe tomorrow. They still all say they have buildable projects with a 500-foot setback. We have a couple of new companies that have been reaching out, trying to understand what's left over from the 5,000-acre cap. Doral is one of those. I think that's one of the largest renewable energy companies in the world, has been fishing around. And another one very interesting called Holocene Energy, I think Clean Energy, Holocene Clean Energy. They're interested in brownfields, which is fantastic. So they talked a little bit about the Racer Trust area, the old Chevrolet Muncie on 8th Street. We talked about Board Warner out west.
Well, so
the old King Fords, what used to be Broderick's, talked about that one and a couple of others. Asked them.
Here's the deal, kind of just in a real quick elevator pitch. Several years ago, we had some commissioners that were in place. Basically, everybody you see here, minus Stephen Brand, the guy in the red shirt on the left. He was not here. Another guy called James King was here. And we had just total insanity because what they were doing was, like in most places, they weren't going in. The companies weren't going in and talking to the elected officials, or when they were, the elected officials weren't notifying the people. The solar companies were, sneakily going in and buying up land. A lot of people were like, whoa, wait. We don't want this. We don't think that this is a good idea. This is not something that we want for Delaware County. And we're not for industrial solar, like thanks, but no thanks. We would rather have our farm ground. And, that's basically where we stand on that. And it was like total chaos and pandemonium. It was hard time getting the elected officials to do anything worth a damn, because our elected officials here currently, before these guys, before this guy was, they were just doing whatever, and they would not communicate with the people, yada, yada, yada. Then came the 2024 election, where this gentleman on the right, my right, your left, the guy on the left on the screen, the gentleman in the red shirt, he ran a race stating that he was not a fan of industrial solar, and he was running to be completely against industrial solar, which he said, he said constantly, and that was that. Now he's been in office since January, and in these 5 months, it seems as if his tune is changing, and he's like, yeah, I'm in favor of this, or more of a fan of it, or whatever's going on here. And we have a large group of people, a very large group of people that are against it. And these are citizens in the county who have skin in the game. They're citizens who live in the areas where they're coming from. We also have a group of people. That are for it. But they are not people in the area, and they tend to be people who are on the left side of the aisle. They're the people who live in the city, and they're mostly connected to Ball State and the Democratic Party here in Delaware County, and they're all excited. So that's where we currently are. So you're saying you have to be kidding me about what? Like what's your take on this? Where are you standing, and what's your thoughts on what I just told you? What are you guys what's going on up in your area? What are you guys thinking? Are you for or against? Is this happening in your neck of the woods? I'm sure. I mean, that's stupid. I'm sure. I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is. Yeah. So, so are you pro or anti solar? Paleo. And Tweety Bird, that's fair. I understand what you're saying. The quote unquote left here in Delaware County are divided. I'm just saying, of the people that are speaking in favor of this, you have people on the left and the right that speak against it. But the people that are speaking in favor tend to be mostly people on the left here currently. That's, I guess, what I mean with that. So, okay, let's continue on with what he's saying here.
You know, how small of a site's too small for you? And they said we would do, 10 to 20 acres up to 500 acres. And these small brownfield sites didn't scare them off any. So I think that's pretty encouraging. Also been reviewing the prime farmland, the prime farm ground language, as it relates to the soil types and the flood maps. Still, there are 2 of the projects that are not affected at all, but there are 2 projects that are affected greatly by the flood maps, and that is their
yes, paleo. All right.
Maps, not the
see, we
setbacks,
started
not
out
anything else in the
not really
ordinance,
knowing,
just
but
flood
I
maps.
you're growing on me,
That's
bro.
restricting their ability to place solar panels. And then I think finally, Mr. Brook sent a clean copy of the ordinance to the commissioners late last week. So the ball's in our court to take a look at that. If we agree with it, it would then be handed off to the planning commission, at which time they could post it to the public and set a date for the public hearing. That concludes my update.
Glad to hear the brownfields are going to be used.
Sure.
Everybody's been asking.
All right, I'll make a motion, put it back on the table, please.
Second.
So we're putting it back on the table.
Commissioner Reagan.
Yes.
Commissioner Brand. Yes. Commissioner Henry.
Yes. IU Health Masters Agreement, I believe we're gonna keep that on the table.
Of course we are.
And the 1315 East Main Street.
Of course we are. Because what is Pam McCammon doing? They told her to have that shit ready like 3 meetings ago. Dude.
Issue. We ran into a problem getting that published in the paper, so we will work on that next meeting. We sent the notice off for the next, I think it's June 2nd. Okay, is the next meeting, so that will be the public hearing date. All right, perfect, thank you. So we'll keep that.
And I want you guys to look at this.
Of the minutes, Commissioner meeting, May 5th, 2025.
I want you guys to look at this for me a second. I'm going to skip back to the agenda. Everybody, you know that we're going to be griping about the Muncie Mayor's Crisis Center, which is a non-crisis center, right? What I want somebody from the Delaware County area to tell me what is it that the Delaware County Commissioners are working on. The city has the Crisis Center. I want you guys to tell me what the Delaware County government is currently working on. We banned abatements for solar and wells and expect the ban from the PC and commissioners to come before the end of summer. Oh, dude, that's I love it. So you guys are all on a page there. Are you all Republican up there? Are you? I'm going to send you a message. I'd like to send you I'd like to talk to you on the phone, Paleo, and chat with you sometime. I'd like to talk with you. Yeah. So are we, but most of them are idiots. They're not like, I don't even know how to describe it, man. It's so frustrating because it's all Republican. Now, not the city government, but it's so strange, man. What's currently going on here? It's ridiculous. It's very bad. Okay, Stumblefoot took me up on it. He said a skeleton building with no future guarantees. Would you all agree? Tell me this. This might be easier. You guys are kind of asleep at the wheel on me tonight. Would you do me a favor on this? Would you tell me if I said that they were working on a substance abuse treatment facility, would you guys say, yes, that's what we were told it was, or no, that's not what we're telling it was? What would you say? Would you say, yes, that is, or no, it's not? Yes, it is a substance abuse treatment facility that would be long-term because the crisis center is only going to be 23 hours. Or would you say, no, it's not a substance abuse treatment facility? I'm trying to get some Delaware County participation here for 1 second before I show you this and move on. All right, Stumblefoot says yes. At least Stumblefoot's paying attention. Tweety Bird says it should be. Well, I want to show you something that I just noticed. If you're talking about the one by the county building at the jail out there, yes, on Tillotson. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let me show you what I just happened to notice when I was rolling through this agenda. It says mental health facility update. Now, look, I know that I am splitting hairs here, like really, really thin hair. I just have to tell you, I'm a little scared. I'm a little worried because I just went to the bait and switch that the city pulled. I'm going to have to look back on the other agendas to find out if it's been called the mental health facility or the substance abuse or treatment facility. In my mind, it's been called the treatment facility all along, and now they're calling it the mental health facility. Honestly, again, I don't think it's probably going to be either one of these. We're going to have to wait and see, but I just think that's interesting that I will come back and eat my words, and I will do a mea culpa if I'm wrong. But I feel like they've done a bait, and I feel like they have switched the title of it here, which a substance abuse treatment facility could be called a mental health facility. So I'm splitting hairs, but I'm just a little gun shy after we've had the craziness of what is going on. Why is that so small? No. Whatever. Something. Okay, I'll mess with that later. Either name should not matter. Well, yeah, you're right. It shouldn't. The problem is, I thought rehab for drugs. Well, we're going back. The solar topic. I'm getting back to the solar. They're done with the solar until we go to public concerns, which we're getting ready to skip. Give me just 1 second here. We're not done with the solar. I just happened to notice that as we were going along there. So they are now done with the solar, just because we're kind of going along in the meeting here, with what everything's happening. So that's what happened there.
Sorry. Catch up here. I'll give these to you. On the second page under LPA Consulting, it says Commissioner Brand made a motion to the LPA Consulting contract. It should say to approve. And then on the fifth page, under HR Director, Pam made a comment that the dependent audit and the spousal carve-out audit were both due May 15th. She did say that, and so the meeting minutes are correct, but I want to correct it. The spousal carve-out is June 1st, not May 15th. So they're right. That is what Pam said, but she gave wrong dates.
Wait.
Any other corrections?
Wait.
But I want to into a problem getting that published in the paper, so we will work on that next meeting.
What happens here?
So for the next, I think it's June 2nd.
Okay.
Is the next meeting, so that will be the public hearing date.
All right, perfect. Thank you. So we'll keep that one on the table. We have approval of the minutes, Commissioner meeting May 5th, 2025. I have a couple of corrections real quick. Sorry, I'll catch up here. I'll give these to you. On the second page under LPA Consulting, it says Commissioner Brand made a motion to the LPA Consulting contract. It should say to approve. And then on the fifth page under HR Director, Pam made a comment that the dependent audit and the spousal carve-out audit were both due May 15th. She did say that, and so the meeting minutes are correct, but I want to correct it. The spousal carve-out is June 1st, not May 15th. So they're right. That is what Pam said, but she gave wrong dates.
Okay.
Any other corrections?
I just wanted to make sure they weren't doing something wonky
Hey,
because of that thing.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Okay.
Marcus Kagan, United Consulting. I've worked with them for the past 5 years.
We're going to skip through this. If you guys want to see this, this is some important stuff to watch. Okay. I'm not saying that this is not important. Okay. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that we're going to skip through this because what I want to get to now is I want to get to the citizens' comments where we're going to hear more about solar. Okay. So we're going to skip forward to the where are the citizens' comments at? They should be up here. Public comments. Okay, here we go.
All right, we have department heads or elected officials. Yeah, Tommy Humber, Delaware County Highway Department. Hey, I just wanted to any other department heads or elected officials? Hey, Don, can you come up and talk about the mowing? So what is your recommendation? ABS, please. Commissioner Reagan? Yes. Mr. Brand? No.
All right, here we go.
Henry? Yes. Next we have payment of ARP claims, $2,500.
Here's the public concerns.
Motion to pay the ARP claims in a second. Roll call, please. Commissioner Brand? Yes. Commissioner Reagan? Yes. Commissioner Henry? Yes. Next, we have payment of payroll for 5/7/25 of $1,049,850.57. Second. Motion to pay payroll in a second. Roll call, please.
I want you to listen to this. I hope Paleo's still here.
Henry? Yes. We have, move on to public comments. We have Cheryl Swingley. Everybody will be given 3 minutes to speak.
Cheryl Swingley, 3908 North Vienna Woods Drive. I just want to ask if it will be customary now not to post the agenda on the website, or was that just an oversight this time? Just an oversight? Okay. We appreciate having those agendas ahead of time. Secondly, I'm really interested in this company that wants to build on brownfields, and I hope maybe Commissioner Brand, you can give me their name and maybe contact information so that I can learn how that they're able to do that, considering Indiana doesn't have a community solar
No, you're fine, bro.
law. And then the last couple of agendas has had solar ordinance, and now we have solar moratorium. So I'm a little confused.
The solar ordinance was put on by mistake
Okay,
in the last
all
couple.
right, we've had a number of mistakes, and
We-
so
we-
it's confusing me
Well,
personally.
and I would ask you to please bear with us. We're in transition. We've lost a person and we have a new person, and I would ask for everybody's patience and as soon as Jenna does a great job for us, she'll get used to this and how the process works, and so I just ask for
Well,
everybody.
I'm
to be patient.
understanding of that, and I wondered if that might be part of the
It's-
issue.
Yeah, there's some mistakes.
Okay, well, I hope I have a few more, another minute here to talk.
Good.
If all the companies can live with the 500-foot setback, I don't know why we just don't lift the moratorium so that they can get on with their business and that landowners can get on with their business too. Because things like brownfields or community solar battery storage and residential solar could be handled differently. And I do know of one solar company that they will have to do tons of negotiation with neighbors if they can live by the 500-foot setback. They cannot build at this point without major negotiations being undertaken. And then finally,
Hell, I'd be less concerned about whether she's got skin in the game with solar panels or farmland or not. I'd be more concerned about is she getting kickbacks from them? Does she have some stock in their companies? I mean, this lady is more concerned with the companies being able to build here in Delaware County in an area where she doesn't live. It's not going to affect her. She's more concerned than the solar companies are.
I'd just like to make a comment about Dr. Peterson. He's very well known in our community and a respected physician. He's very involved in the community, and I'm sorry that someone commented on his age, which I find inappropriate. Thank you.
Next, we have Sandra Bass.
Jesus.
Just wanted to follow up. I know 1315 has been tabled, and I'm sorry, I am Sandra Bass, 1311 East Main Street. And we were not able to be here at the last meeting. It was my mistake in believing that we would get the proposals in this week. So
Yes,
that was
we
the
were.
reason
That's
that my
correct.
son submitted our proposal. In knowing that it has been posted public hearing for interested parties in 1315, I'm not understanding
Okay.
why. Good morning, Commissioners. Thank you. I'm Linda Hanson with the League of Women Voters.
Oh, look here.
1300 West North Street. And I appreciate your statement about why the agenda was not published. We appreciate knowing that the notice to the public will still be going out. Just for clarification, I know some of this changed during COVID, and it used to be that we did not get an electronic notice. So what is the legal obligation for notice to the public about it?
Done.
The legal obligation for notice about regular commission meetings is done at the first of the year and is sent to the media. It's also, the list is also posted, I believe, on the county website as to the dates of all the meetings.
The dates, but agenda.
The agenda is to be prepared and provided at the day of the meeting. That's a legal obligation. There's no legal obligation to have it, on before that, but we tried to do that. We tried to get it posted.
Thank you. And I appreciate that posting because it does help us prepare. So thank you very much.
Why are all those people albino?
Okay, we have, no other,
All right, enough of that nonsense. Let's go on to this weirdo's op-ed, okay? Here we go. After this meeting, she decided to then, this op-ed appeared in the Muncie, the Star Press, okay? And I'm not going to even blow this up. You can see it enough. I'm going to read it. Op-ed, Delaware County should embrace solar energy before time runs out. I mean, what do you mean? I'm going to be very crass here for just a moment, okay? Her time, my time, whose time? What's running out? What do you mean? Key points. Delaware County's delayed solar ordinance could force the state to rely on small nuclear plants, a priority for Indiana politicians. Indiana's manufacturing industry needs more energy than the state produces, leading to higher costs for consumers. The author urges Delaware County to adopt a reasonable solar ordinance citing potential economic benefits and responsible land use. Time is not on Delaware County's side. Delays in adopting a reasonable solar or utility solar ordinance might not only affect the county, but also the city, especially if utility solar is not possible. Wind already is off the table, and the only option left is a small nuclear plants. I mention small nuclear plants because they are on the horizon and the current rage of Indiana politicians. The supermajority of the Republicans in the Indiana General Assembly pushed hard for renewables, such as utility solar and wind during the 2025 session. But they received nothing but backlash from county commissioners throughout the state, which included Delaware County's commissioners too. Now, Governor Mike Braun is speaking out about Indiana's energy needs. However, see article from the May 14th issue of Indiana Capitol Chronicle. As an aside, Indiana currently uses 3 times as much energy as it produces. So we are having to buy much of our energy at auction, which can mean increased costs to consumers. Believe it or not, Indiana is not a farming state. It's a manufacturing state. Braun makes that clear. He wants energy and water manufacturing and data centers because there's money to be made and jobs to be created. So far, what he wants, he gets. He's a bulldozer. Does Delaware County want to be in the governor's path? The Republican-dominated state house fell in love with small nuclear plants during the 2025 session, and Braun indicates we might have them in 10 years. That's really on a fast track. Most of the time, it takes at least 15 years to build a small nuclear plant. And because nuclear would be built by utility companies, eminent domain comes into play. A small nuclear plant could be built anywhere in the county or city, next to Country Village, in Gaston, in Royerton, in downtown Muncie. What? The old Southway Plaza? This lady's a nut job, man. I also understand from land agent in Georgia that Georgia's small nuclear plant is now operational. What? It took 25 years of trying to get it right. Meanwhile, electric consumers in Georgia saw their electric bills increase because of cost overruns and delays. Electric customers in Georgia had to pay for the plant before it was operational. Will we have to do the same? Do we really know how to build these small nuclear plants? Now I implore Delaware County officials to get their act together for solar. At some point, reconsider wind, which should have never been taken off the table, you idiot. You can still farm with wind if you are worried about growing food for people or about the farmers who contract with landowners farm their land because they can't afford their own. But when talking about farmland going under solar panels, note that 4 landowners with contracts that I know plan to put no more than 6%, 7%, 30%, or 50% under solar panels. In each case, they will still raise corn, soybeans, or wheat. Overall, less than 2% of farmland would be needed for the solar projects that could be built in Delaware County. As of May 13, Delaware County's new solar ordinance from the county commissioners still was not ready to move forward to the plan commissioner's office, although the county commissioner's attorney said at the county commissioner's first meeting in May that it would be taken care of that day, May 5th. The edits needed for the documents were pretty minor based on what happened at the commissioner's April 21st meeting. Are other changes being made? Will it go back to the county commissioners? When will it get to the plan commission? There are growing speculation about what is going on. What's the delay? Transparency continues to be an issue. That's the only thing I agree with her. Yeah, right. She didn't say Northwest Plaza because that's in her backyard. Tweety Bird to the rescue. You're right. Absolutely. I love it. Also, when the ordinance goes to members of the Plan Commission, I hope they will ask to see a copy of Marla Moody's solar ordinance and review the state standards for solar, which aren't required yet, but watch out for them to possibly be mandated during the 26th short session of the Indiana General Assembly. I'm speculating here based on what I witnessed at the General Assembly's 2025 session. Solar companies, which cannot exercise eminent domain because they are private companies, only government and utility companies can use eminent domain. Something that most people don't realize. Signed contracts with farmers under the Marla Moody solar ordinance. They should be allowed to build under that ordinance since it was in effect when the contracts were signed. They have waited more than 4 years to build in Delaware County as commissioners have imposed 4 moratoriums and slow-walked the new solar ordinance. Moody's solar ordinance has reasonable setbacks and does not have a property value guarantee, either which the Plan Commission's consultants established months ago as not being able to be enforced. Here are the state standards. Indiana Code, set set standards for solar panel setbacks and heights. Counties can require solar panels to adhere to the following setbacks summarized from the legislation. 40 feet from the nearest edge of the right-of-way of federal, state, or county highway. 30 feet from the nearest edge of the right-of-way from a collector road. 10 feet from the nearest edge of the right-of-way from a local road. 50 feet from a non-participating property line. 250 feet from a non-participating dwelling unless landscape buffer is installed. According to state recommendations, the landscaped buffer is only required if the solar panels are less than 200 feet from the dwelling on a non-participating property. The buffer cannot be located on non-participating property. The county can require a plan to be submitted. The legislation does not present the reduced setback as an option for counties to adopt, but rather as a required standard that a county must meet or be less restrictive. We need a utility solar ordinance that will allow landowners their property rights and solar companies reasonable setbacks for efficient development and conservative use of farmland. With Delaware County's proposed setbacks of at least 500 feet in the new solar ordinance, several acres of farmland will be wasted and unproductive. What a garbage lady, man. What an absolutely waste human being. Also, more land will be needed for solar projects because of the excessive setback, which is designed to prevent the development of solar. As if we have land to spare for housing additions, apartments, mega stores, warehouses, car dealerships, and types of urban sprawl that always takes farmland out of production. We have more than enough land for development of utility solar and enough land to still raise crops. I wish our current county leaders could have the same mindset as the county leaders years ago had when they welcomed the Ball brothers to Muncie during the natural gas boom. Those leaders saw that she was alive then too. She was alive then too. Those leaders saw the benefits using what was new energy then for the welfare development of Muncie. Capturing the sun now is the new energy we need and will bring untold benefits to Delaware County, just as natural gas did for the area years ago. Sherry Swingley, retired Ball State University journalism instructor and complete nut job. Good evening, Brenda Grider. So yeah, biased trash. I mean, it's just the same nonsense she speaks every time she gets up to bat. And it's just like the same thing. When are we going to do? How are we going to, I want to rock the solar companies in my arms and hold them together. Listen, I'm telling the anti-solar people, man, oh man, I'm telling you, we got to start getting together. We got to start having those people there. I don't know if do we know if they're still meeting out at Ron's compound? That's got to start happening again. We got to kick this into high gear because it is coming. It is coming. We're going to be meeting for the Plan Commission in very short order, I do believe. And we need to have things ready to rock and roll. I will, again, I keep calling them and they keep saying, we don't know. We don't know. I will call again tomorrow. Let me write that down and see if there's any indication of when a meeting might be coming. And I will let you know. As soon as I know something, I will let you guys know. But this is crazy. It's not good. We don't want it. We don't need it. And, I really hope that Brand, I don't know what Brand is doing. He's really scaring me right now. And, I know that back when he was against it, he was just one of 2 votes. So it really doesn't matter what he does. But man, I still hope he's on our side about this. I'm scared by what he's saying. I feel like he's being won over. And I don't know if it's, I don't think that he and Shannon get along. So I don't think it's by Shannon. I think the solar companies are actually winning him over. I think that's what's scaring me. I'm asking for a moratorium and ordinance stating no new farmland can be made from woodlands and wetlands. Yeah, that would be good. Bet Brand goes pro solar. Man, I'm telling you. I have somebody. I'm not going to say anything more. I'll reach out to somebody and ask some questions tomorrow. Yeah, the land we have is it. The land we have is it. I will reach out tomorrow and I will ask what they think is going on. I'd venture to say farmland is in the gas boom days was abundant. Well, sure. A hell of a lot more abundant than it is now. Absolutely, Tweety Bird. 1,000%. 1,000%. No question. And it's just complete lunacy that these people are pushing this without having skin in the game. Look, I am never going to say someone can't speak. I don't care if you drive here from Portland, Oregon. Stand up and speak in our meetings and be pro or against or whatever. But for the love of God, they have to take these people. They've got to take a little bit of grain of salt with what these people who are saying, who are all pro solar, who don't live anywhere around it, who have no skin in the game there, and are saying like, yeah, we want it. And then what did she start off with? She started off bitching about them talking about allowing solar to maybe come to a brownfield. And it's like, dude, like if it was going to go anywhere, if there would be something anywhere, like I wouldn't have a problem with solar being on the old Chevy plant site. Well, no, maybe not there because that's still in the middle of town. Borg Warner. I'd be okay with Borg Warner, maybe. But I don't want it in farmland, and I don't want it, period. I would just like to do, we need to get elected officials like they've got up in Wells County. Wells County's up there. Yeah, I think it is. because it sounds like they are on the ball up there, and I'm going to have to reach out to him and talk with him and figure out some stuff. But, the problem is we just don't have elected officials that have a backbone or that are man or woman enough to do what needs to be done. Tweety Bird, she said something, Brand, they brought up that one of the companies was like looking at saying that brownfields would be okay, something like that. And she said that she wanted the information because she didn't think it was legal. She just acted like she had a problem with it. It's like these people are saying, if we can't wreck your farmland with it, we're not happy. If we can't wreck your land with it, we don't want it. So that's very strange. To hell with that kind of thinking. That's insane. That's absolutely insane. All right. So we'll keep watching this. The fight is kicking back up, folks. The fight is kicking back up. I want you to be fully aware of what is happening there. The fight is ramping back up. So be aware of what's happening there. Okay, moving on to topic number 2. Lieutenant Governor Micah Beckwith's quiet town hall in Muncie. All right, he had a town hall meeting yesterday, and everybody was like, "Ooh, is this going to be like the second coming of the Victoria Sparks thing? Is it going to be protesters all over the place yelling and screaming? Oh my God, it's not going to be at City Hall. They're going to have it at Old Town Hill. They're going to tear the church down. They're going to burn the church down." The preacher even said that a lot of his people were saying like, "Oh no, don't have it here. They're going to turn the pews upside down." And it's like, no. I mean, like, yeah, maybe. Hell, I didn't know what to expect. But I kind of went into it thinking it wouldn't be that big a deal. And I'll tell you why here in just 1 second. So this is a picture. This is not a picture. Stand by. This is a picture. What is happening here? Give me 1 second here, folks. We seem to have... No, I'm not doing that. We'll just do it over here. Okay. Let me see what we got going. Come on now. This is a picture inside the town hall meeting of Indiana's lieutenant governor. And, you've got a lot of people saying a lot of different things, okay? The Delaware County Democrats put out a statement saying dude, what? Okay. They put out a statement saying Hoosiers across Delaware County and Indiana are tired of listening to the same old Republican excuses, being shouted down, laughed at, and not being heard. Local Hoosiers are energized by the new path forward our party is forging, and they are showing up in droves. Last night, about 24 people attended the Republican Party's town hall with Indiana's second highest official, Lieutenant Governor Micah Beckwith. When asked if he believes in due process, he said, if they're not here legally, then they don't have due process. This is a similar answer to what Representative Victoria Spartz had said at her town hall. The Constitution says otherwise, and the Supreme Court agrees. So do we, the Delaware County Democrats. Lieutenant Governor did refer to himself as a Christian nationalist, so we give him a few points for honesty. However, he offered conflicting takes about hiring practices for state offices. He talked about merit-based hiring and common swipe at reducing barriers for those who have the qualifications but are discriminated against. Yet, when pressed about hiring friends and fellow church members, he talked about intangibles and workplace culture being prioritized over actual performance. Why the hypocrisy? Along with questions on education, Beckwith, sporting a white 47 hat, was asked about the impact of Trump's trade war and tariffs on Indiana's over 90,000 farmers, which exports over $6 billion annually, and the impact expected to be felt. Indiana State Senator Scott Alexander brought up concerns of grain prices that are and 500 acres of farmland is up for auction, the largest in years. This echoes a concern that local farmers could be vulnerable to being exploited by developers. If you want to stay up to date on what we're doing, not me, the Delaware County Democrats, currently under construction, that website, sign up for our newsletter. Don't forget to follow and like our Facebook page, yada, yada, yada. Okay, so their response was, people are tired of whatever's going on, and I don't say that they're wrong. I think that a lot of people are tired about what's going on at state level government, okay? I think Republicans are tired. I think Democrats probably are definitely tired, but Republicans are tired about what's going on. A lot of them are. A lot of you are. I am. There's a lot of issues with state government, okay? There's just no question. No question. Let me highlight this question here, and I will. I cannot confirm nor deny. I had to sign a non-disclosure agreement about our dinner, but let me come back to that here in just 1 second. We also hear from Mr. Former Delaware County Councilor, America's Councilman Ryan Webb, who posted the following. And Ryan said about last night, if this will start working. No, maybe he posted it on his personal page. Let's see where he posted it. I knew I'd go to the wrong one. Oh, happy birthday, Ryan. Today's his birthday. Okay. 6 hours ago. Okay, Ryan says, most people that show up to town halls for Q&A are there because they are unhappy with current leadership. I would say the low turnout is a great sign that Indiana residents are satisfied with Republican leadership. Even the Democrats stayed home instead of showing up to challenge the current leadership of the Republicans. Most people could only assume that the Dems are also satisfied with Republican leadership, both in Indiana and nationally. Kudos to Lieutenant Governor Micah Beckwith for presenting himself to the public and giving everyone an opportunity to address their elected officials. Okay. Let me tell you, those are both wrong in different ways. And let me tell you what, in my opinion, the actual thought is here. What I believe to be the actual what's going on here. Okay. This is really easy. If you want the real reason last night's town hall forum with Lieutenant Governor Micah Beckwith wasn't better attended by his supporters or detractors, it comes down to two simple things. Number one, no Tweety Bird. There was no protest outside. Absolutely, beyond a shadow of a doubt, zero protest. I'll put it to you like this. If there was a protest, it was 1 to 4 people. And I say that because they would have had to have been in a car. So it could have been 1 person or 4 people or maybe 5 if they had a bench seat in back and they fit in a car and they never got out. There was never a protest anywhere around the building that I saw. It comes down to 2 things. Last night's town hall was the lieutenant governor. The lieutenant governor. Contrary to what Micah Beckwith thinks, contrary to what a lot of Republicans think, contrary to what a lot of Democrats think, he doesn't have any real power. He isn't a legislator. He's not writing laws. He's not making laws. He's not driving policy. He's not driving issues. He's not the chief executive. And what little area that actually falls under Beckwith's purview, he hasn't really had much to do with because, honestly, he hasn't been involved with it. He doesn't really know what's going on because he's been too busy out doing these things and other things, trying to go viral, trying to be a conservative influencer, trying to become the next Charlie Kirk, trying to land himself a radio gig or a TV gig once this quick ride comes to an end. And it will come to an end, I think, quicker than what he thought. He spent too much time going viral. Listen, I am all for transparency. Do not get me wrong. I like that he's willing to come and speak. And listen, I'm going to give him points because he will not turn anyone away. He will speak to everyone. That is something I will give him credit for. He'll stand there and argue. If they wanted to line up 200 Democrats to ask him questions, 200 detractors, he would have stood there and he would have answered as many questions as they would have allowed, the church would have allowed him to do. We were there for over 2 hours and he would have stayed there for longer, honestly. I'm just being honest. So I do give him that credit. I welcome any and all elected officials to reach out and meet the citizens where they are. I'm all for that. I mean, I attended the town hall. I was there. You can see my fat butt right here videoing. I'm looking through my camera up here. This video right here. And let me tell you, this pisses me off. We had the sound thing worked out. I had my new equipment. I had the cameras. When I walked in, I had a lavalier mic that he could have tucked inside his jacket. And one of his people said, "Oh, I'm sorry, he can't use any more. He can't wear any more of those. He's already got too many." And when he came around, he later told me he would have worn it. So I asked the people running the soundboard at the church where I should best put them for sound. And where I was directed to put them was the absolute worst place for sound, because they put it on top of the bloody sound speaker. So it was like, so I'm sorry about that. Once I unplugged that and I just used the camera mics, it did get better. Once I got out of there and I turned it on past when I did that, and that was only for the first little bit, the audio was not as bad as people were making it out to be. I listened to it and I could hear it clearly. If you guys couldn't hear it, I don't know what to tell you, but I got past that mic issue, which was really early on, and I was able to hear the majority of the meeting. So maybe go back and listen to it again. I apologize, but we got this taken care of. Just from now on, we'll know better to not listen to them or people on where to put it. I'll just put it where I thought. If I would have put it where I thought to put it, it would have been better. My fault. Anyways, so number one issue, he's not really anybody. So it's not very exciting. You know, in communities where there are a lot of blue, yeah, they might come out and challenge him. There's just not many, and he's not important. He's, in my opinion, he's not important enough. Nearly. And he shouldn't be. I was there. So anyone that wanted to be there could have been. I'm all for transparency. But there just wasn't much in the way of anything that really happened last night. He didn't speak and direct anything. He stood up there and said, "Hey, I'm Micah Beckwith. Thanks for coming. Now ask me questions." And really nobody jumped up at first. It took a while for people to jump up. Nothing that will change anything one way or another happened last night. Now, if we could get Governor Mike Braun to come around and do these, hell yes, there would be a major turnout. Hell yes, there would be a major turnout. If we could get the state representatives and state senators to do these town halls, then yeah, that would really be doing something. But Beckwith going out and continuing the campaign and doing this, he's oversaturating himself, and people are getting sick of it. Number one. Okay. But the biggest reason last night's event wasn't better attended by anyone from the right or the left simply was because it was not advertised well. The event was not advertised for shit. The Delaware County Republican Party posted it one time. They posted it one time. Wild to me that's what that they did that. Delaware, I'm going up here looking at it. Delaware County, Indiana Republican Party. Let's go look at it here. Yeah. They posted it one time on May 13th at 5:33. And it had 7 comments. That was it. That was it. People just seemed blah about it, even the Republicans. I mean, hell, no one from the city of Muncie was there. No one from the city of Muncie showed up as a sign of, hello, we're welcoming you here, Lieutenant Governor. There was no support from the city of Muncie officials. And while there were one of 3 Delaware County Commissioners, Stephen Brand was there, and the sheriff and chief deputy were there, they were there along with the rest of their guys as security. It seemed as if the Delaware County Republicans and Democrats it seems as if the Delaware County Republicans and the Republicans that make up elected office holders in both the city and county government just didn't know about it. Or maybe more accurately, they didn't care about it. But hell, the Delaware County Democratic Party didn't even really advertise the event in a way to whip up their side as a voice of opposition. This was just treated like a last-minute afterthought, which was very strange. I just thought it was very, very, very strange. I think it speaks volumes that no one from Team Ridenour was there. I think it speaks absolute volumes that they weren't there. I think it speaks volumes that there was no one more there from the county government. And listen, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you. The reason, in my opinion, that the county government wasn't there is different than why the city government wasn't there. The county government wasn't there because it's Micah Beckwith and it doesn't matter. He doesn't matter. The reason city government wasn't there is because Dan does not like him. Period. That's it. So it was, listen, my advice to Micah Beckwith is take a seat. Do some work. Check in with the agriculture. Check in with Okra. Check in with the things that you have authority over. Start doing some work. Sit at your office. Stop driving around in your $88,000 Tahoe, which he did arrive in last night. He was therein. I don't know. Very, very weird. And then half the time it wasn't even his event. It was Scott Alexander. And I think the only reason he did that is because Scott Alexander is on the ballot next year. And he is a turd and a half, man. He is a rude dude. First of all, he and I got on the Muncie bypass at the same time. And I paced that dude at going about 85 miles an hour around the Muncie bypass in the rain. Okay. Very strange. Why were you driving that fast in your vehicle with your state Senate plate? You know, slow down, bub. Micah's not that important, and neither are you. So that's strange. Whatever. So the event was what it was. I'll give him credit for talking to the people. I don't like that people are saying like, oh, there were only 10 people there. There were only 15 people there. That's not true. There were 47 people there. And that includes the church people. That includes like the 6 or 7 Delaware County Sheriff's deputies. That includes his staff. That includes myself and the Channel 13 guy. So there were there were a total of 47 people there. If you take out the media, me and the other guy, you take out the cops, and you take out his team, not many people were there. You know, it's kind of a strange deal. Yeah, right. Both will lose next election. Dan and Mouthy Micah have something in common. Both will lose the election next election. And then just to come back to this as a callback, is it true Micah took you for dinner last night and you rode shotgun in our overpriced SUV? Yes, we did go to dinner. We went to Olive Garden. No, we did not. That's a joke. Before anybody starts reading it. No, I did not go to lunch or to dinner with Micah. I would not go to dinner with Micah. I would not have a problem going and sitting down and arguing with him the whole time. That would be more than fine. But no, we did not go to dinner. I would not go to dinner. And, you know, I wouldn't have a problem with it, but I would not do it. You understand what I'm saying? I wouldn't have a problem, but I wouldn't do it just because I've had him on the show twice. We spoke last night at the event before it got started, and I'm not nearly as infatuated with him as Rob is. So it is what it is. I've got basically everything. I mean, I want to talk to him more in the role of commentator and lieutenant governor. I want to get information from him. But as far as him just doing his thing and grandstanding, I don't need to hear any of that. I'm past all of that. All right. man, it's only we're only an hour and 30 minutes into it. We're doing really good. I was worried for a second. Muncie Mayor Dan Ridenour's non-crisis crisis center. So I talked about this the other day, and I covered about everything at that time that I wanted to say and did all of that. Okay. Stumblefoot. You know, it's really strange. After I attended the crisis center open house the other day, I made a post, and in the post I talked a little bit about the things that were going on, but then the main issue is I talked about like the things that I heard that were concerning. And that's the fact that the place is only open Monday through Friday. It's only open from 8 to 5. So it's only open Monday through Friday. If you have a crisis on Saturday or Sunday, you are shit out of luck. If you have a crisis at 6:30 p.m., you are shit out of luck. Now, if you're going to have a crisis, you need to have it Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. until 5 p.m. If you go there and you're under the influence of alcohol or any kind of narcotics, any kind of substances, they will not take you. If you are looking to check yourself out early, not figuratively speaking, but literally in the realest sense, meaning out of the center and out of everywhere, they won't take you. They are turning police away. If they're turning police away, I can only assume they're also turning people from the hub, people from the mission, and people from the Y away. And the very last thing I posted was, I know I'm going to get shit for this post. I know I'm going to get shit for this post. I know people are going to say like, oh, you're hating on this, and just to hate, and look at you, how dare you speak ill of this thing that's doing such a good job. And to that I say, wait a minute, is it really doing a good job? Is it really doing a good job? How's it doing a good job if everything I told you is factually accurate? I didn't get hate, though. You know what I got? I got people that started writing me and saying, holy shit, why are more people not concerned about this? I cannot believe this. I had been happy and hopeful for this facility. Hopefully, Mr. Bilbrey proved my theory correct. Looking into how, unfortunately, Mr. Bilbrey proved my theory correct. Looking into how I can be of help here, preferably a paid position or something, but I can help. I think I can help. But again, thank you, Kristopher, for your hard work. People messaging me and being like, this is horrible. They are really bad. There's so many problems there. Do they make arrangements for people to go somewhere else for treatment, or do they send them back out the door? Tweety Bird, they send them back out the door. Let me tell you this. I wasn't saying that, Karen. Someone that was writing said that, not me. Someone else. Let me tell you this. I got a message. I got a message yesterday that said this. Hey, I reached out to you because I saw your post about the crisis center, and I wanted to tell you that you are 100% correct about every bit of it. Everything that you said that the police officers have said is true. Everything that they told you on your tour is true. And everything else that you've heard through other sources it's all true. I worked there, but I have now quit. Meridian sucks, and the supervisors are not in it for the right reasons. Now, I'm not going to talk about everything because there are a couple different people that's quit there already, but I'm just going to say that this person confirms every single thing. They confirm every single issue that I brought out. Just blows me away. Now, my thought here is, why is this happening? And this is what I think is going to happen. I'd be shocked if this doesn't. We're going to go on paying the utilities and paying for little incidentals and things that happen as a city. The taxpayers are going to be on the hook. And at some point, 4 months, 6 months, a year, 2 years, probably less. I say anywhere between 4 and 8 months. This is going to close, and then the city of Muncie, under Mayor Ridenour, is going to sell this building to someone who we will find out is a Ridenour friend for a very low cost. And I think that's what's going to happen here. And don't forget Dustin Clark and Belinda Munson, who made out like bandits on this deal as well. So it's not just Ridenour that gets the heat. It's also Belinda and Dustin. Keep that in your mind. So I'm going to keep following up on this. I'm going to keep seeing what goes on. I'm going to, you know, if any of you have any information, if anyone has any information on this, please bring it forward and we will try to get this going. Yeah, how's that helpful? This is a Tweety Bird, right? Listen, here's the thing. I was talking to one lady and she said, I said, so, you know, I know that they couldn't spend the night here. I knew that no, they weren't going to be able to spend the night, but something's going on. Excuse me. Something's going on, and you have a fight. You're in crisis, whatever's going on, and you go here knowing that you've got a safe place where you can ride out the entire night, knowing you've got a safe place, at least for 23 hours, might be able to get you in the right frame of mind just for a second, long enough to say, okay, I'm going to go to this new treatment, or I'm going to go here, I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do that. But then we find out, oh no, it's not going to be 23 hours. That's going to be 8 to 5. And I literally said, I'm trying to see the bright side of this. Well, okay. At least these people are going to be able to stay there 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know, they're going to be able to stay there a work day. You're going to be able to stay there 8 or 9 hours. And someone shook their head and said, no, you don't get it. Anybody that comes in here, anyone that walks in the door, we run them through the battery of questions. We see them by like the intake person. They go and they see the doctor and they get all their quick exam. And then they go sit in the day room. Maybe they go do a load of laundry. Maybe they get a cup of coffee. Maybe they talk to a counselor and they make all these plans to see them in follow-up visits over the phone or something. And they get their asses out of there. They don't want them there more than a couple of hours. What is that? Shedtown needs a community-owned grocery store ran by a transparent nonprofit owned by the community. It's possible. Or name it Stumblefoot's Place. Yeah, I'd be all about it. What if they walk in at 4:45? Hit the road, Jack. There ain't no 445. This is like the Wendy's on the south side. You know, Wendy's is open till 12 o'clock. And while I can say I never worked fast food, that's a lie. I worked Subway for 2 weeks. See, I never worked fast food like most kids will work because my father owned a business. So as soon as I start, like in 5th grade, I started working for him. And in middle school, I worked for him. In high school, I worked for him. I worked all summer long, 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, sometimes on Saturdays. It was a hard-ass job. We slung sledgehammers, putting tents up, and it was a hard-ass job. I worked my ass off there. Worked there in the school year. I'd get out of school. I'd go in and work at 3 o'clock, work from 3 to 5, do the graphics. We'd go in on Saturdays. I'd do graphics, you know, work during the winter and all that stuff. So that's what I did. But there's a bunch of people that work on the south side. And listen, I'm not one of those people that goes to, like, if they close down at midnight, I'm not going to go there at like 10 till and be like, hey, can you make me a do-do-do-do-do-do, and make him have to fire everything up and make a bunch of shit. I think that's bad. But every now and then, something might happen and you might be put in a spot and it's just your only alternative. And if I go there, I don't want to be told at 20 till, I'm sorry, the grill's closed. You know, it's like, wait a minute. Well, if you guys shut down and stop serving at 11:40, then you're not open till midnight. You actually close at, 11:40. Well, if we find that out, then they're going to start shutting down at 11:20. And so it's eventually like, where does this stop? You got to be here till you get off. Well, I know that the Wendy's on Madison used to be real bad about like saying you couldn't order stuff after like 10:30 or whatever. That was something. I don't think they're that way anymore, but they used to be really bad for that. This is like the crisis center. You don't go in at 4:45 with a crisis. That's exactly right. Yeah, look there. Yes, I remember going there. Yeah, absolutely. You're right. They cannot call this a crisis center. It's absolute bull crap. Stumblefoot. Yeah, dude. Look, I don't look down on those people. Working fast food is a rough job. It's not something I'm good for. I'm not good for. It's not good for me. Even as a big dude, I'm sorry. I worked at Subway when I worked at my dad's. I would go to work. I would go and work a 8-hour job, swinging sledgehammer, making damn good money, because we made good money doing that because it was a tough ass job. Me and a buddy from school, and everybody that worked there, was rough. And then I went through a period where I went and got a job at Subway. I lived right down from. I'll tell you where I lived with my buddies through college. I lived at 213 East Berkeley Street. East Berkeley Ave, I guess, at Berkeley Avenue. Berkeley Avenue. Just off of McGalliard, back in behind Rowley's. 2 blocks off McGalliard, and about 3 blocks off of Walnut is where I lived. And so I lived like 8 blocks from Subway when it used to be back in behind Burger King there on McGalliard. And so I would get off working at Muncie Tent and Awning, my dad's shop, and I would go in and work from like 6:30 to close at Subway. And the only reason I did it was because I wanted to get the free Subway. And it was great. I loved it. It was fantastic. But then I can remember I was working there, and like these punk kids I was working with, they were all idiots. They didn't do anything. Like, I was a hard-ass worker at this point, you know, swinging a sledgehammer. I knew I wanted to be a cop. I was like working towards that. And I have a manager that's like 2 years younger than me, 3 years younger than me, that's yelling because I put the tape on wrong as we put it on the meat that we were putting in the freezer. Yelled at me for something, and I was just like, "Are you kidding me? To hell with this. I don't need your lip. Are you kidding?" Like, it's ridiculous. I put that meat on the counter, took my hat off, took my apron off, and said, "Thank you." Walked right out. I didn't even go and I worked there for 2 weeks. I never even got paid. I didn't go get my paycheck from there. Never picked up my paycheck. That was it. It was insane. Okay. Good stories. So this crisis center, yeah. Listen, going and getting a burger last moment is a little bit different than having a crisis at 4:45. Not if you live in Muncie. I never lived on Dick Street, but my buddy did. That's a whole nother story. I'll tell you all sometime. Have I ever told you the story about me and the cow? Me winning a cow? I'll tell you about that. Not when I mean a cow. I don't mean a cow. I mean like a 1,900-pound Black Angus bull. As a junior in high school. All right. That's it with the crisis center. Last topic. We're almost done. We're not doing bad at all. We are killing it. Indiana Secretary of State Diego Morales, current issues. You guys heard about this? This is pretty wild stuff. Pretty wild. What's happening here? So Diego Morales, he's still in the hot seat. He's never going to answer what's going on, who paid for his India trip, what the hell's going on there, what he was doing, what old Raju was doing. You know, just absolute crazy stuff. Let me see. Whoops. He's never going to tell us what was happening with that. He's never going to tell us what's happening with his brother-in-law. Working there, you know. We're never gonna hear the real life story. You know, and it's this guy. It's this guy that is a bad guy. You know, he's the bad guy. Raju is, Diego Morales is. They went to India. They're doing a whole bunch of crazy stuff. He's paying his brother, doing a whole bunch of crazy shit with that. Just crazy things happening. Well, I'm not getting. Why is that? Hold on. Why are we having trouble here now all of a sudden, man? We should not be having this trouble. Give me a second. My laptop stopped working on me, so it's throwing me off. Okay, here. Okay.
The Marion County Election Board meeting here to order, May 21st at 1:03 p.m. Before we get
This is the Marion County, Indiana Election Board meeting, and this was from yesterday.
started, we'll do
And they're going to go around and they're going to name themselves. I don't care about that. We don't care who they are. We don't, you know, you won't know who these people are unless you follow
County
them.
Liquor Corporation Council.
Here we will have no public comments.
No public comments.
Any information you have on this topic?
Thank you, Matt.
This gentleman is going to tell us why they're here. They are here to hear a complaint, and I want you to listen to this complaint.
Madam Chair. So I will try to provide a timeline of what we know to be true at this point. In November 5th of 2024, on General Election Day, Secretary of State Diego Morales visited the Marion County Election Board Service Center, accompanied by Secretary of State employees, and was there on an official visit to observe the administration of the election, our operations on Election Day, and specifically the central count of the absentee ballots. There was a post made to the Secretary of State Facebook page thanking volunteers at the Marion County Service Center on November 5th. And then on November 6, 2024, Secretary Morales also shared a video from November 5th that included his visit to the Marion County Election Board Service Center. On May 1st of 2025, Secretary Morales posted a campaign video to his Diego for Indiana website, as well as other social media channels. The video contains footage of the Marion County Election Board staff and volunteers at the service center from Election Day on November 5th, 2024, where the absentee ballots are being processed and tabulated at the central county facility. And in the video, Secretary Morales is seen talking to volunteers who are in the process of processing those ballots. The footage was shared by the footage or parts of the images that were shared in 2024 were the same images that were shared in 2025 on that video. On May 7th of 2025, Clerk Bell sent a letter in her capacity as clerk to Secretary Morales, respectfully requesting the video no longer be used and shared, and requested that that be done by May 12th. We received a response from the General Counsel of the Secretary of State's office on May 8th. And then on May 16th, we forwarded that letter as well to the Secretary of State's campaign email address as well. It was our understanding that they wanted that officially sent to the campaign email, and so we did that as well. And at this point, I don't really have any other, the letter was forwarded May 16, 2025 to the campaign, and at this point, I don't have any other information really to share with the board other than what I detailed here.
Any questions or follow-ups from the board?
Yeah, I do. It was brought to my attention that our staff, our volunteers, were in a campaign video. And I certainly hope that Secretary Morales shares the concern that I had. And in a non-confrontational and respectful way, I requested that the video, the portions of the video be removed. I sent that out and not thinking that there would be any issue, that, oh yeah, we'll fix that right away. And that didn't happen. So the Secretary of State's office said, hey, that's out of our purview. That's their response. I'm paraphrasing there. So they responded to some media inquiries, or a media inquiry that I know about. And so they did receive my correspondence. And as of the last I checked was, I think, Monday, and the video was still up. So I don't know if it's simple editing or if it is, they'll get around to it when they want to get around to it. I would like to know more. And that's why I'm requesting that under Title III, and Brad, maybe you can go into this a little bit. I want to know what our options are
Here we go. Yeah, that's right, Stumblefoot.
and responsibilities. I mean, I know already what my opinion is, but I think we need the benefit of the law to help guide us here.
So if the board believes that it's possible or likely that a election law, so some, a violation under Title III has occurred, Title III says that the election board must investigate that potential violation. So the question is, do we believe a violation, or do you believe a violation has occurred and what that violation might be? So I think that's the discussion or question before you. And if the answer is, you think, yeah, it's likely that one may have occurred, then the law would direct you to launch an investigation into that. And in this case, there would be, I'll go ahead and answer this question, I guess, preemptively, because he is a statewide candidate. So there's a question too about your jurisdiction over the issue. It did occur in Marion County. And there are instances where the statute will distinguish, oh, this is for the state election commission and this is for the county election boards. That usually appears as things related to campaign finance. On something of this nature, it can go either way. And you can exert jurisdiction sort of in two instances. The candidate falls under your sort of domain, local candidate or statewide candidate, or it happens within your jurisdiction. So at the county level. So you would have jurisdiction over this issue because whatever violations may or may not have occurred, the fact pattern occurred within the confines of Marion County.
Council, maybe you have it. Can you state or read what the statute actually says?
Yeah, Daniel has a copy of it actually.
I need the actual statute.
Yeah. Yeah, 17. No, not that one. Sorry.
Listen to this.
365-31. If a county election board determines that there is a substantial reason to believe an election law violation has occurred, it shall expeditiously make an investigation. If in the judgment of the board, after affording due notice and an opportunity for a hearing, a person has engaged in or is about to engage in an act or practice that constitute or will constitute a violation of a provision of this title or of a rule or order issued under this title, the board shall take the action it considers appropriate under the circumstances, including referring the matter to the Attorney General or the appropriate prosecuting attorney.
Uh-oh.
So I think at this point in time, where we are today, is really the first sentence. If the county election board determines that there is a substantial reason to believe an election law violation has occurred, it shall expeditiously make an investigation. I think that's where we are in sort of the timeline at this point.
Yes.
It was said pretty quickly, but council, could you, I know in the correspondence that was sent to Secretary Morales, there was a code site that was named there of what the violation appears to be. Could we restate that for us right now?
Yes, that is 314.117, and that's a pretty expansive section. I will paraphrase it as saying it is a misdemeanor. In the first instance, it can be a felony if it's happened multiple times. But for a government employee to use the resources and property of the government employee's office for the purpose of partisan campaign activities.
And the video in question was first produced shortly after election day in the official office capacity with official office staff.
That's my contention.
That's what we believe to be true.
Yes. Well, that's the
Yeah,
thought.
that's right,
So of course
Harry.
there's staff, there's video equipment, there's that it was, you know, he was on his official schedule. And then it was produced, presumably, we don't know, right? So the issue is, you know, again, if you have substantial reason to believe that this likely is a violation, then you have to investigate it. The board has, of course, I think it's under section 27 of your list of powers and statute, you have subpoena power to sort of dig into the detail.
Oh, man, that'll be wild if they start
The
subpoenaing this dude.
And so do we need to vote on having the investigation? Or how do we agree to move forward?
Yes, I think would be, and then, you know, report back, you know.
Do we need to provide notice that the investigation has taken place or have them come and argue their case?
So before you would refer anything to the, you know, Attorney General or the prosecuting attorney, you would first have to provide notice and opportunity to be heard before you could make a final determination and make a referral. We're not at that point, right? You know, the investigation hasn't been conducted, no final determinations have been made. But before you can make that final determination, impossibly a notice and opportunity would have to be.
So they're going to do an investigation. If they vote on it, and they would have to call Diego in.
This discussion and then vote to have an investigation commence.
Yes, nothing more than that today. I think that's really all that you could do today based on the information available.
Any questions?
Here we go.
None for me. I think we agree there's a violation, motion to pursue investigation.
I will move to direct staff to conduct an investigation into violations of Indiana Code 314-117.
I could, I'm sorry. I might ask to broaden that a little bit. I think it's possible that there.
How about that?
Yeah, I would
Under
say.
Title 3.
There we go.
Under Title 3. All right, well, I'll amend that.
What? I just wanted part of it gone. That's what I wanted.
I would, if I could suggest, the motion would be, you know, an investigation into whether there has been any violations under Title 3.
Whether or not there's been
Any Title 3 violations occurred.
It's there, I think.
And I think it's important to have an understanding of what actually happened and occurred, so I second the motion.
motion is made and second.
Motion is second. I'll call roll. Vice Chair.
Aye.
Madam Clerk. Aye. And show the chair voting aye.
Oh, so your Marion County Election Board just voted last night to run an investigation on Diego Morales, our top election official in the state of Indiana, for election issues, election violations. What an absolute tool bag. This is very serious. This guy just continues to screw up time after time after time. And I don't know if my nephew's here or not, but I will go ahead and put Diego in the same category that he put Dan and Micah in. I do not think that Diego can win again as long as we get somebody who has a pulse, as long as we get someone who is breathing. They will beat Diego if they do even remotely any kind of work. I would hate to be Diego. Who's the guy speaking to the election board? The man in the blue is a man from the election, like the election commissions that was reading that was making the actual crime, that was reading the issue, is one of the attorneys. Basically, so this lady, this woman, these three women here are your election board, and the rest of these people are attorneys. So yeah, that's what that is. Now, that's the serious Diego stuff. That's the serious Diego stuff. There's also a little bit of funny Diego stuff. So along with all of these things that are going on, all of these issues that this idiot keeps getting himself into, there is also another situation in which he is finding himself in. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is called Tiptoe Gate. That's right. This rather short Diego Morales is all of a sudden being pegged as someone who is so shallow and is so vain and caught up about just all of the overall outward appearances that he is being caught standing on his tiptoes in pictures where that about inch or inch and a half that gives you in lift is never going to make him taller than this gentleman. So it's like, why even do that? And it's like, okay, Bilbrey, but that's only one picture, you know. Well, no, here he's caught doing it again. And that's like a pretty substantial lift he's actually doing there. Matter of fact, he's actually lifting himself so much off the ground that it's making him stand weird. He's almost doing like the Pee Wee Herman dance. It's so strange to see what he's doing here. Oh, here's another example where he's with these two ladies. They are both definitely taller than him. He is stepping off the ground here. His heels are off the ground. Just totally wild. Totally wild. Well, yesterday, after all of this had been going around for a while, a couple people had said, yeah, right, Space Cat. A couple people had said, well, you know, he just got his new campaign pictures taken. And they released the campaign pictures. Here it is. Here's the campaign picture. Here's his new campaign picture. But that's not the official one going out because his campaign manager knows he's in trouble. So they're like, Diego, we have to be more truthful. We have to be more truthful. Get off your tiptoes, dude, and let's take a real picture. So now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to show you the picture that Diego Morales took. That's going to be his actual campaign picture after he got called out by his campaign manager, and he's no longer on his tiptoes. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the 2026 election campaign picture with Diego Morales not on his tiptoes. So at least he's being honest now. You know what I mean? Like, I can appreciate you, Mr. Diego here. Heyo! That's posted on my Facebook. I made that. If you want to share that around, steal it, take it for yourself. But, dude, this guy's in all kinds of hot water. Like, it's like dumb shit like this. Like literally, truly, like, you know, shit where he's literally worrying about standing on tiptoes, all the way to like crazy, actual serious shit. So it's like, who are these people? Who do these people truly think They are. It's total insanity. Total insanity. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is it. That's going to do it for this evening. I want to thank you. We've gotten through a lot. I've been talking a lot. It's just been me here. Kate's under the weather out there on the West Coast. I want to thank you. We covered a lot. Tomorrow we will cover the American water deal. So tune in for that, along with whatever else happens between now and next time I see you. If you need to get a hold of us or follow us, right there's the way to do it. Please hit that like button before you leave. Like us. Share the show with everyone you know. Help spread the word. Click the bell so you get notified when we drop shorts and other content throughout our span of the week. You know, we're here live generally Sunday through Thursday at 9 p.m., but you never know what goes on. So you'll want to subscribe and click the bell and share the show with everyone you know. Hit that like button before you leave. You guys take care of yourselves. God bless each and every one of you. Have a wonderful day, a wonderful work day tomorrow, and we will see you back here tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern like we do. Good night.